All right, I'll get started. Good afternoon. I am Robert J. Conti III, Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department. Today, the Metropolitan Police Department is seeking the community's assistance in locating suspects responsible for violent crimes in the district, including a recent road rage shooting incident that made national news and multiple homicides cases that have tragically occurred in our city. I'll ask you to turn your attention to the video that we're about to play for you. I'm disturbed every time I see that video, and I hope that the community is as outraged as I am every time I see that video. On Wednesday, May 19, 2021, around 5 p.m., members of the MPD's 6th District responded to the 1600 block of Eastern Avenue Northeast for the report of a shooting. Upon arrival, members located a female in the front seat of her car suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. Her 2 young children, ages 5 and 11, were also in the car. Fortunately, they were not struck by gunfire. However, the 5-year-old suffered minor cuts caused by the car window glass that was shattered by a bullet. Through our investigation, we learned that the suspect exited his vehicle, a gray 2-door Maserati, as you saw on the screen here, and fired shots at the mother and her 2 children in what appears to be a road rage incident. The suspect also shot at another vehicle before fleeing the scene. Video of the shooting made national news as it occurred just 2 days prior to the California road rage incident that left a 6-year-old child dead. Detectives determined in our case that the individual responsible is 42-year-old Kenneth Davis, and he can be seen here in the photo next to me. This individual felt it was necessary to use gun violence to deal with his anger. I am here to tell him that is unacceptable in the District of Columbia. Today, we are releasing Mr. Davis's identity in the hope that the public can help us find him and bring justice to this family. We are committed to finding Kenneth Davis and ensuring he is held responsible for the violence he inflicted on this family and bring him to justice. At this time, I would also like to bring attention to multiple suspects that are currently wanted for homicides that have occurred in the district in 2020 and 2021, and I will highlight them now in chronological order. The 600 block of 46th Place Southeast. On Thursday, August 6, 2020, at approximately 5:47 p.m., members of the 6th District responded to the 600 block of 46th Place Southeast for reports of the sounds of gunshots. Upon arrival, officers located an adult male suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. DC Fire and Emergency Medical Services responded to the scene and found no signs consistent with life. The decedent was identified as 26-year-old Michael Brittingham of Northeast DC. The suspect in this case has been identified as 18-year-old. At the time of the murder, he was 17 years of age, Drayon Young of Southeast DC. He is wanted on a DC Superior Court arrest warrant charging him with second-degree murder. The 600 block of O Street Northwest. On Saturday, March 13, 2021, at approximately 10:43 p.m., members of the 3rd District responded to the 600 block of O Street Northwest for the report of sounds of gunshots. Upon arrival, members located an adult male victim on the sidewalk suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The decedent was identified as 29-year-old Nicholas Hawkins of Greenbelt, Maryland. The suspect in this case has been identified as 26-year-old Anthony Antonio Whitted of Northwest D.C. He is wanted on a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant charging him with second-degree murder while armed. The unit block of Madison Street Northeast. On Saturday, March 20th, 2021, at approximately 7:44 p.m., members of the 4th District responded to the unit block of Madison Street Northeast for the report of a shooting. Upon arrival, members located 2 adult male victims suffering from gunshot wounds. The decedent in this case was identified as 21-year-old Demetrius Johnson of Southeast D.C. The suspect in this case has been identified as 18-year-old Nigel Outler of Southeast D.C. He is wanted on a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant charging him with second-degree murder. The 2600 block of Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue Southeast. On Monday, May 10, 2021, at approximately 2:08 p.m., members of the 7th District responded to the 2600 block of Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue Southeast for the report of an unconscious person. Upon arrival, members located an adult female victim inside a residential building suffering from apparent stab wounds. The decedent was identified as 47-year-old Georgette Banks. The suspect in this case has been identified as 52-year-old David Maurice Rhodes of Southeast D.C. Rhodes is currently wanted on a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant charging him with first-degree murder while armed. The 1500 block of Maryland Avenue Northeast on Tuesday, May 11th at approximately 3:51 a.m. Members of the 5th District responded to the 1500 block of Maryland Avenue Northeast for the report of an unconscious person. Upon arrival, members located an adult male victim suffering from an apparent stab wound. The decedent has been identified as 43-year-old Kareem Elliott Watkins of Temple Hills, Maryland. The suspect in this case has been identified as 31-year-old Byron Caraway Brooks of Southeast. Brooks is currently wanted on a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant charging him with second-degree murder while armed. The Metropolitan Police Department currently offers up to a $25,000 reward to anyone who provides information which leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for any homicide committed in the District of Columbia. Anyone with information about these cases are asked to call the police at 202-727-9099 or text us anonymously at 50411. I think it's very important that we talk about these cases, that we put this information out to the public, to let the public know that the Metropolitan Police Department is serious about the business of bringing people to justice when they commit violent acts in our community. We're asking for the public's continued help. I should add at this point that as a result of the call out that I've placed to the community, a lot of these cases, the reason why we're able to have Superior Court warrants issued for these individuals is as a result of help that's coming from the community. So I'm asking that the community continue to flood us with those tips and information about where these suspects are so that we can bring justice to these families who have been adversely impacted by violence, by gun violence specifically, in the communities here in the District of Columbia. At this point, I'll take any questions that you may have. Yes, ma'am, and then Mark.
Chief, with regard to the road rage shooting, we understand that the Maserati was picked up today. Can you tell us what led to that first?
Our investigation, pretty much. Our detectives have been working very hard on this case. As I mentioned a couple of days ago at a press conference, the person who was responsible for this, we'll see him soon. That much I can assure you of, and this is part of that. We were able to locate the vehicle. We have the suspect who we put out to the community, and again, we're asking for the community's help to find this individual.
I don't know what type of location that the vehicle was recovered in, but a Maserati is not a common vehicle. What would you say to the folks who are seeing this type of car that know it's involved in that relation?
Well, people did come forward with information, so I want to say thank you to the community. I want to say thank you to the community for answering our call for help. We put the call out to community, and community responded, and we're able to get as far as we are in the investigation with the public's help. So thank you. Yes, Mark?
Hey, Chief, what can you tell us about the suspect, Mr. Davis? Does he have a criminal record? Is he known to you or police in Prince George's County?
He does. He is from the area. There is prior criminal history there. I will not go into detail about that, but he certainly has a prior criminal history. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, do you want to just talk about the homicide rate that we're currently seeing in D.C. right now? The case it's on could be the worst since 2004. What would you want to say to people who are concerned?
Yeah, so right now we're at about a 23% increase in where we were same time last year, which is consistent with what we're seeing all across the country in all of the major cities. We're seeing spikes in homicides. But what I want to say specifically about the District of Columbia is if you commit a homicide in the District of Columbia, we're coming for you. That's the bottom line. That's been the message from day one since I've been in this seat. When people commit homicides in the District of Columbia, when we have the community and we have the police working together, there's nothing that we can't tackle. And this is an example of that. We have several individuals that are out and wanted, and we're asking for the community help to find these individuals. Some of these individuals, 18 years old. There's no support system in place for an 18-year-old who's not working. How is that individual getting around from place to place? Somebody out in community knows where these young people are, where some of these individuals are, and we're asking for the public's continued help to not allow these individuals to just roam our streets and cause more death and destruction in the streets of the District of Columbia. We're asking for the public's help to let us know where they are so we can go pick them up. Or they can come and turn themselves into the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department. I'll be glad to meet them at the door. Mark?
Chief, can you tell us if Mr. Davis is the registered owner of that Maserati, his connection to that car, or to the house that it was found in, the garage that it was found in Hyattsville?
He is the owner of the Maserati. I don't want to go into details about the house where it was found. Yes.
Chief, on another case, can you tell us where investigators are with Kion Jones, the 15-month-old?
We continue to work on that case. As you know, it's a very sad and tragic. When we're talking about the case from Benton Road with the mom, we continue to work on that case. As you know, we placed the mom under arrest. His remains have not been found to this date. It's certainly something that's very tragic. In this day and time, we're asking that if there are folks in the community, moms specifically, that are struggling with children, there are ways to resolve those issues without resulting to what we saw in that case, or what has been reported to us by the mother in that case. Mark?
Well, just to follow up on that, your thoughts on the U.S. Attorney not prosecuting the top charge in that case?
They have judicial discretion to do what they felt they needed to do in that case. There's always an opportunity for them to bring charges with additional information. We felt like we had what we needed, probable cause at that time. They obviously have a higher threshold of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That's certainly a higher standard of proof to try to make a case that would be accepted by a jury, but that's not our standard here in the police department. We have what was reported to us, what was reported not just to us in the Metropolitan Police Department, but essentially what was reported to the world directly by the person involved. We did what we felt we needed to do, and we'll continue to support the United States Attorney's Office as they move forward in that case. Because the case was initially no paper for the murder, does not mean that the investigation ceases at this point.
So that's my question. Is that still an open investigation?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, any update to the drive-by cell shooting on the 1800 block of Q Street Southeast that killed 65-year-old grandmother Ellen?
Yeah, that's another case that's very disturbing to me, as all of these cases are. That's another one where I'm directly pleading. I'm pleading on behalf of this family to the citizens of the District of Columbia who were near that area, the 1800 block of Q Street, where a 65-year-old grandmother unnecessarily lost her life because somebody decided that it was a good idea to come with a gun and shoot up a block. Again, a message to that person. The chief of the Metropolitan Police Department needs to have a conversation with you. If there's a person that's out there who committed this act and you know of it, don't be complicit in that person's crime. I'm asking you that you reach out to us, 202-727-9099, or text us anonymously at 50411. Any other questions? Mark, last one.
General Custom, moving into the summer, a lot of police departments across the country,
Yeah.
you pointed out this is not isolated to DC
Yeah.
by any means, but are bracing for the possibility of a higher rate of crime throughout the summer for a number of reasons. What are your concerns headed into this summer as we're headed out of the pandemic and restrictions are lifted and people are kind of pent up and want to get out?
Yeah, I share in those concerns with many of my colleagues and as major city chiefs across the country are, as we see even before the restrictions were lifted, we see increases in crime. I think that we have to continue to work very closely with our communities. We have to continue to build on those relationships. But most importantly, when people commit crimes in our city, we have to be prepared as a city to bring those individuals to justice, and not just incarcerate them or bring them to justice that way, but to see those cases through and ensure that we hold people accountable for what they do in our communities that make communities unsafe for my family, that make them unsafe for your family, for people who might be visiting the District of Columbia. Those type of actions, that violent behavior specifically, should be unacceptable. Should be unacceptable in every community. Whether you live east of the river, whether you live north of the park or west of the park, it doesn't matter. When we have violence in our neighborhoods, when we have people who are not afraid of committing violent acts, the incident, the crime that we had involving the family over there on 10th Street where the mother and child were shot, those things are unacceptable. But I think, as we have demonstrated here today, and in that case, there are a lot of great things that can happen when police and community come together. When we come together and we talk about things that are unacceptable in community, here's the result. You got 5 or 6 individuals out here right now where the community can go out and call into the police. These individuals, whether they're in this area or not in this area, somebody knows where they are. I'm asking that we continue to work with our law enforcement agency and our other agency partners to bring these individuals to justice so that we have a safer summer. And we're not talking about, the number of homicides. One homicide is one homicide too many when it occurs in this city. Thank you, Mark.